roll. Welcome back, ladies and gents. We continue with DPC and Omega versus Infinity, game number 2, right behind the corner as we have our draft going on right now. Before we dive into that one with T-Panda and Kips, I think that was some pretty awesome Dota that we saw from SA compared to, well, I have to be frankly honest here, but that last series does not compare to what we just saw in this game. It's not the best, it's not the cleanest, it doesn't need to be the cleanest Dota, but it's got that flavor and flair to it.
Who needs clean Dota? We just want blood.
Exactly. We've got more blood in the draft as well. With Queen of Pain being drafted again by Infinity. Pamplona, most likely, but could still be flexed into mid. Let's see if Omega takes the bait.
5 seconds.
They're going to basically be forced into a Lina pick or something similar again here if they actually want to win this mid lane versus the Queen of Pain. You're going to see if they pick that up or not. You could go into OD. If you don't mind struggling a little bit, there is always, of course, the Ember Spirit possibility. But you will fall behind to the Quap. That's a given.
Yep, that is.
Only 10
Let's see
seconds.
if Omega wants to continue with Lina, for example. Do they
seconds.
first phase
Hurry,
Lina, for
hurry.
example? Because you're still looking at a pretty decent laning matchup, even if Quap were to go mid. I would like to pick it here. Otherwise, I feel like Infinity is just going to ban it. That was a really good game from J Mari, I have to say.
Yeah, and it's really not up to him that he can't keep up at that point. Like, if you don't go for the Lincoln Sphere, you can't take the aggressive positioning that he does. So you do go for the Lincoln Sphere, and then you have damage problems. It's like, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
This Disruptor here is going to, at the very least, make playing a core Queen of Pain pretty unattractive. Unless, of course, you are willing to rush the BKB. And even then, you're going to have to BKB a lot of times. You really wish you wouldn't. And Tidehunter. So
Okay.
finally, an offlane pick before everything is banned out. I mean, I say that we had a Magnus in the previous game, but that's an unusual pick. And this guy usually doesn't make it through the second phase.
Yeah, he was a Magnus that wasn't an aggressive Magnus, not like a playmaking Magnus, not the the flashiest guy on the server. I feel like he was
It was
a
an
very
hour.
very submissive Magnus, so to put it, because he was only buffing his Ember and his Anti-Mage with Empower,
Yeah.
and only showing off for the RP.
Yeah. It's like, behold the horn of Magnus.
Yeah, it's not like
If
he's
you
gonna
want
be.
to.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's given an option. He wasn't the guy who shows up, RPs, right clicks for like 5 minutes, and
skewers
just
all of them
punches
back.
everybody, skewers them all around, shock waves around, buffing his allies using utility items. No, he was just empower before the fight, and he might show up for an RP. That's pretty much what he did. So, but that was not Omega's Magnus. That was Infinity's Magnus. So let's see if something is shook or shaken. Tidehunter and Undying now brought up for Infinity, so they will continue with their strong lanes presence. I feel like they need to put emphasis into their laning stage, because Omega played very well in the early minutes. Strong lanes, good outcome, and then it kind of fell flat.
5 seconds.
Yeah, like you
Hurry,
definitely
hurry.
left the initiative of the game up to Omega for quite a long time with the way that they drafted and then built. So I do enjoy this Undying pick here. A lot more weight at the start of the game. Would make a Lina pick for Omega Gaming once again really good here, not just versus the pop
Fierce ban.
in lane, but also taking out the Tombstone. But they seem to still be toying with the idea of letting it through.
Granny Band, Razor and the Marana Band. Do they want to get something rid of the last game from Infinity? I don't feel like Anti-Mage is necessarily ban-worthy, even if it would be a decent Anti-Mage game. His lane is not the best against the Tidehunter.
Radiance ban.
And the Bandolina, yeah.
They made it too good for themselves. And then Omega is just defending their Tidehunter pick here. No Razor, no Ursa, nobody to completely punish him out of the lane just yet.
Only 10 seconds.
What's really kind of like making
5
my brain
seconds.
stir
Hurry,
is the
hurry.
standings of the group currently. Infinity being 4-0. If they go 5-0, I feel like they're definitely in top 3 they win another series, they're in top 2 or maybe even won the whole group because they're the only team without a loss. So if they win Omega here, I could almost say that they're guaranteed to the upper division. Almost.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, they've already beaten Balrogs, who are,
Yeah.
I'd say, the decisive number 2
Yeah.
here. Gorilla's Pride might have something to say about that. They still have to
10
play
seconds to
Infinity.
pick.
That's the
But they
last
already
match
lost to
as well.
Balrogs, so
Yeah.
5
that's going to
seconds
be an exciting
remaining.
one.
That's the last match as well. So that will decide if Gorilla's Pride is going to be squeezing in between or if they're going to get knocked out into 3rd place. Because if they lose, then Balrogs go through.
Mhm.
At least with the current algorithms of how the points are going to be divided. Second phase picks. Omega 50 seconds. Make your call.
Dire team are now picking.
Sky Wrath Mage.
Stealing picks.
No, just holding on tight. He's he's had a pretty good game on that Skyrath Mage. Yeah.
Only 10
Like
seconds.
it's not as much of a banger of a lane here for sure,
5
Tidehunter Sky.
seconds. Hurry,
But between
hurry.
Disruptor and Skywrath, you have so much magic damage and magic utility out of your supports that you can go very how should I say, you can pick some very blunt instruments for your cores here if you'd like to. Let's go immediately into the Luna.
I feel like Luna's a bit more polished.
Mm-hmm.
Blunt or sharp.
Sharp, certainly.
Undying Luna. Yeah, I think we've seen something familiar.
10 seconds.
Or
to
at least
pick.
something that resembles with the lane.
5 seconds.
Because you have
remain.
healing for a squishy. And you still have a good harasser. I feel like
Radiant team
Undying,
pick.
though, if you're going up against the Sky Tidehunter, it's not a very fun lane for an Undying to be in. But if Infinity, if they work together with the Undying and the Luna, kind of like never let the others stay alone in the lane, I think they should be fine. But the moment one of these heroes is missing, like Undying is doing a
10
pull,
seconds to
or if Luna is not around when Undying is contesting, like the hard camp pull from
5 seconds
the
remain.
Tidehunter and the
Dire's
Sky, then
banned.
that's really a point where you strike.
Doom pick from Infinity now into the Tidehunter, trying to make sure that that Ravage never goes off. Can't purge off that Doom, unfortunately.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Mm.
Only 10
Omega picks up
seconds.
this is a very standard hero pick into a Doom. You see Doom, you
5
go
Yeah.
Wraith King.
Hurry, hurry.
Doom
just
can't
makes
deal
it
with
so-
skeletons.
Yeah, and it makes it just so unappealing to ever drop the Doom on the enemy carry. Like sometimes it's definitely what you want to do, especially if the rest of your lineup is stanky. You know, you want to ignore their team fighter. You have BKBs, you just kill their carry first.
Yeah.
It's not going to work with the Wraith King.
Radiant's
Of course, in
banned.
lane, the Wraith King does really well versus Doom as well. Big physical damage hitter. Doom's still a little bit low on the armor side.
And you just gotta itemize yourself to soak up some of those hits. At least there's no hero that's gonna get insta one shot by Wraith King. There's
10
no
seconds to
squishy
pick.
Sky against you, or a
Dire's
Lion,
banned.
or a Disruptor who just gets one shot. So Wraith King's item build doesn't necessarily need to go for a Desolator this game. I don't feel like that's the one that you want to go for. How would you build this Wraith King? If not Deso, what would you get after the armlet?
I mean, if you're a chatty, you get a blink, right?
Only
Yeah,
10
you get
seconds.
Blink, but damage-wise item, like what's your go-to?
5 seconds. Hurry, hurry.
It's not a Radiance game either.
No, definitely not. It hasn't been a Radiance game for a long time. I don't know why am I not allowed to? I just want my Deso, man. That's the build.
Yeah, it is the build, but I'm like, do you want to go for Deso here? I guess you could. I feel like you just go AC.
I like early AC builds, especially if you have a Tidehunter on your team. But sometimes it's often that I'd kind of like the Tidehunter to have the AC eventually, instead of, for example, the Aghanims
Would you?
build, which is something that I... Yeah,
Okay.
because you often get roughly the same amount of minus armor out of it, while not really having to do anything for it. All you need to do is be alive, stand near your team, that sort of thing. It's a viable
Yeah,
alternative.
sure. Yeah, you could do that. I was just thinking if you go like on this Wraith King, if you want to provide for your
Radiant's
team
banned.
and get yourself a mid hero who also has somewhat right-click damage, you would go for Armlet, Blink, BKB, Assault Cuirass is basically your item build. So that's like the 4+ boots, and then you can look for that one luxury item on top. You have Tidehunter, who could build Solar Crest to buff up some bit of extras here. You could think about, do you want to go for Vlad's? If you don't go for Vlad's, you know, just a basic aura carrier to provide for your team. You could still think about Halberd, for example. Disarming the Lunas, not a bad idea. And that status resistance, which also reduces the time of the Doom. But we'll see what they decide to go for in the end, because they still have a last pick to go for, and it has to respond to this Lesh pick.
Yeah, it's not 100% certain that you're going to be laning versus a Lesh mid. It could also still be the Queen of Pain. But after the previous game, it definitely looks like Pamplona is very comfortable on a Queen of Pain support. Probably somewhat less on the Lesh, so...
Less on the Lesh.
Less on the Lesh, yep. And they banned out this Ember Spirit already, which would have been, at the very least, the best possible solution left versus the Quap, I think. Now, OD doesn't look that appealing in this game. He's the only one of the meta picks that's really left.
Yeah, I can't really see anything else that could fit into the fold. Odie's an alright pick. I feel like there's nothing wrong here with going for the Odie last pick.
I don't think so either. Like, you're going to lane fine versus the Lesh, but you are going to get shoved in decently far. And the Lesh, of course, is not somebody who's going to rotate and gank, but he's going to take out your tower from under you. And that is something that an OD with the Meteor Hammer explicitly does not like. He wants to be the one to push down the tower, ideally while the enemy mid-rotates or farm side camps somewhere. So these two definitely have solo kill potential on both each other and the towers. And that leaves OD feeling a little bit vulnerable. He likes to be the only one who does that.
10 seconds to pick.
Well, game 2 time, Infinity has the chance to continue their undefeated streak into 10 games in a row, or 10 maps in a row. Do you think they're going to be able to do it here? Is Omega still going to offer a challenge? I feel like if they would hold on to the pressure they come out of the laning stage from, able to get those towers fast, they have early Roche potential. Omega could snatch a victory in this one. Could.
They could. I once again really like the potential that they have here. They have a lot of magic damage, which necessitates BKBs over on Infinity. And then after that, actually a lot of minus armor coming out from the Titan Wraith King. So as long as they don't get too far behind in this game, if this Luna Doom don't completely walk away with the farming game, then they actually have very good damage and utility scenarios for all throughout the game. I'm just worried that they won't be able to keep up with Parker.
Well, they're going to have to find some tools for it at least, because this was not going to be handed out for free. Infinity is a tough opponent. Omega's going to have to look up whatever they have in store. They have some powder still in the shelf that has been waiting for the right moment to be used. Omega on the Radiant side this time. And I think we had some play with numbers. Let me double check that again, because I think we were talking about win rates. Well, yeah, Omega had a 20% win rate on the Dire. And they have 75% on Radiant, so with the maps that they have won, the majority has been through the Radiant side, and so far, maybe one of their better drafts. Maybe the stars align.
Yep, very possible. Like, the kinds of follow-ups that they have to this OD imprisonments are actually pretty scary. Like, you can isolate somebody out, drop the Static Storm on them, drop a Mystic Flare on them, drop a Ravage on them. There's a lot of big hammers to fall here onto Infinity if they don't back each other up immediately after they get caught.
Sentry has been located. He was not fast enough to get that Sentry down and run away. Doom smartly cuts down the tree there at the same time to spot that maybe somebody's lurking behind. An easy Sentry to get rid of that. Open up that easy camp. Very needed for Leshrac to have this the accessibility to this easy camp.
It's one of the things that's going to really allow him to pull ahead of this OD. OD clears it decently, but since he has no AoE capability anymore, it does take him longer.
I found a quick observation about some potential looming chaos in this map. If a taunting Wraith King approaches a taunting Leshrac, what is the music genre that's playing?
I
Exactly.
don't know, actually.
Exactly.
It's...
That's an answer. Maybe our lovely Twitch chat or YouTube chat, or because we're showing this game in several places in chat. Please let us know what kind of genre of music is playing when the Wraith King that is taunting approaches a Leshrac that is taunting, because it's bound to be something pretty interesting. I can tell.
It's definitely a remix.
There's some pretty good mashups that people do these days. But you don't want to mash up those two songs. That would just sound awkward or awful. Anyway, talking about our CSing, watching supports trade hits back and forth. Mariano's being bought some time with Pamplona tanking hits. Sean prepared with 4 mangoes. He's ready and prepared for some brawling. And about the Queen of Pain, she does not want to go for Urn this time. So either she's deciding not an Urn game, but no Sage's Mask to go with.
I wonder if she doesn't really see the kill potential on this lane, what with the Wraith King being about. My eyes are firmly on the mid lane, by the way, where the Leshrac was getting absolutely clobbered on the first wave, and now is getting denied again.
5 and 2, 6 and 2. Pretty even, though has actually a big XP advantage over J-Mari until this creep wave has fallen. Tries to cause a bit of chaos here. OD's still able to snatch at least a couple. That is also a first blood on Parker. That's not the first time that's happened. Pretty important kill for Omega. Dark Demon, Lissex.
They got to level 2, went in there with the wave before the Undying had his level 2, so no Soul Rip to save, no Tombstone to slow. Nothing Aluna can do there.
Straight up solid forward. Meanwhile, Mariano down to 40 HP in the bot lane, and it is a Skeleton who gets the kill in the end. So, good old Jack Skellingtons get the last hit for Mingate. He had already finished his right-click animation, but one of the small ones followed through.
Oh, man. And this is kind of a classic Undying death. Like, I think he had some choices there, but he'd rather just die. But then spend all of his regen getting back up.
Yeah. Kill or not. At least he's got his money to buy some more, and he's come back with 5 mangoes. That's Salve. He's got a lot of tangos on himself, so he's prepared to share with the Luna, who's actually got no regen remaining.
Honestly, you never need to buy any to begin with if you just have an Undying willing to ferry you snacks all the laning stage long.
Well, you got to keep the Luna happy. Bringing a mango also keeps the Doctor away.
You don't know that.
I actually don't know that, so I'm just throwing in the wild guess here. Sean, though, can't deny himself. Pamplona snatches in for the kill. That's actually the first one for Infinity from the support duel.
As good of a trader as the Disruptor is, you're never going to get past the Queen of Pain with the 2 levels in Dagger, because she's also healing at the same time.
Look at this rotation to mid, though. That's a dead PP. This PP is beat. That's the 4th kill for Omega, and a pretty important one too for J-Mari.
Going to make good progress on that Meteor Hammer now. And once again in the driving seat of that mid lane. The denies are really stacking up for him now. And unless his range is actually pretty short, and the range of Astral Imprisont's pretty huge. It's not quite stair to stair, but it's close to that. There's no way for him to get close without actually getting imprisoned.
It's close enough. At least when you start racking up those points, then you really start to get surprised by it. And Luna is in trouble. Parker's taking some heavy damage here. The heal comes out from Prada. But Parker actually lives through it. Salve used and forced away. Dark Demon used everything in his mana pool on this attempt onto the Luna. Sorry, the Luna. Very close one too. But no cigar.
Magic Stick is doing so much work for her in this lane.
Yep. I'm surprised Luna didn't actually max out the wand. So being cost efficient and just keeping the stick, and Dark Demon also finds a courier on the way. That's the little bounty hunter eliminated.
Please, let this one be the last.
Over on the bot lane, Mariano actually has himself a value point in the Infernal Blade. You sometimes see it get skipped, but for something as tanky and well trading as a Wraith King, it definitely helps to get that 1 point up. And they're actually going for him now.
Yeah, they can. And he's trapped. He's body blocked. And slowly burning. Burning. And the Infernal Blade gets the last tick.
The Ring of Fire.
The Ring of Fire indeed. Kill for Bane. Bane. Doom.
Top lane, Lissix.
Almost the same thing. Lissix down. That's a bit of a surprise. I think that's, well, this guy doesn't have any mana to provide, so wasn't around the area. Had to go for the action rune towards mid. Realized that there's no supports around the area. Mari is able to get the arcane rune. Losing the tide's a bit awkward, but it's not the end of the world. Meteor Hammer is now ready in the OD. I believe so. That should be all the pieces. Yep, all the pieces are on the courier. Perseverance ring is also up. This is the moment where the co-op really has to calculate. Again, Kips, do they fight in mid? Or does she rotate elsewhere and maybe forces her tower to go down to the Meteor Hammer?
Well, she's a support this time, so technically this is all PP's problem, but PP emptied his mana and his health pool, so he's firmly outsourced his troubles to this position for Quap.
Yep.
You deal with it.
Let's just go back
Tower
home.
goes down? Your fault. Oh, she might go down.
Yeah, it's a lot of damage, and it's gonna be enough. Oh, he drops one hammer. Does he drop the other hammer too? Yep. Tombstone is down. Dying is ticking, and that's a double kill.
And a tower.
OD is gonna be happy with
deny.
this.
Oh yeah, he's on top of the world right now.
Yep. Very happy Tano. Deny range tower though.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised to not see the OD just... Yeah, there we go. Walk up, hit it.
There we go.
Middle tower has fallen.
Still a tombstone down for a couple seconds too.
Chan is like, what are you doing, Dark Demon? That's a lot of gold right there.
Yeah,
Hit it.
that's the grumpy support. It's like, guys, come on, sharing is caring. Like, should help out with this stuff. Nope. You are pause 5. You do not have priority. Illusion
and once
Room is
again,
there, and Flesh in a bit of trouble, but can't get
gives
the
away the
hammer
ward.
yet. Yeah, the ward is given away. That's actually a bigger loss here, because you don't get to kill this hero. 3-man smoke under a ward. They've seen this one coming too. But did they? I mean, they were under a ward. They still get the Luna. No. Has to dodge the split earth, and there's no static storms, so Parker's actually fine.
This might cost him their other aggressive ward as well.
Interesting. Another attempt from Mari. Pamplona goes for the slow. I feel like they've actually had enough of this. PP with the Pulse Nova doesn't have anybody to jump on him though.
And I guess they're distracting attention away from this Tidehunter on top well enough, but it kind of bothers me that these poor supports are running around mid both with level 5 when they'd really like to get level 6 before they try this. Because there's no kill threat right now, not really. Nobody on Infinity is going to die unless Sanity's Eclipse comes off cooldown again.
Oh, Silence is connected onto the Queen of Pain. PP now finds Disruptor. John. Nowhere to go, nowhere to run. Too far, too deep for a Disruptor to be. Tano, he's a bit far away. Maybe he could focus down this Tombstone. There is still Prada to throw in a heal onto it, so they can't quite get this on the first try. But it's only one extra hit to recover, so Tano will get this one in the end. Let's look at net worth too. OD up in front, Doom following right a couple hundred gold behind. I feel like every core is there except look at how far Leshrac is.
He has fallen.
He has
Yeah,
fallen
and
indeed.
once again, the support rotations from Omega really making the difference for this mid lane. Just like in the previous game. And it doesn't really seem like Infinity has an answer for that.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
PP is gonna try for Lissex on the top lane. He's all on his own.
Defensive Ravage. But does PP stay? Yeah, there was backup on the way with the Sky and the Disruptor. But that's Ravage actually gone. Meanwhile, Tano, he's got the stun on Parker. That's a dead Luna. Brada's also there. Chorus and everything given to the death of Parker. Tano with Mengate, Dark Demon. They're surrounding this Undying. Nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. Double kill for Tano. Maybe some revenge in mid, Chan. Again, why is this Disruptor in front of a tier 2 tower? Let me ask. It's not the place to be.
Really thirsty for XP, alright? He's nearly got level 6. And he's had people hanging around. Like, he was like, give me the mid lane, give me the mid lane. OD's like, nah, we can screw around here with 3 people. Waste a bunch of time. Finally, I have the mid lane to my own. Well, also no.
It's like, you know, like you're watching on YouTube, you're watching a funny video compilation about some guys doing an activity, then there's another person in the background. It's like kind of like on a class trip or something. Then there's the third guy in the background. He's got like his head stuck in a peanut butter jar or something. You know, like they're just thinking, what the heck is this guy doing? That was Disruptor in mid. Kind of like out of place and just such a random act. It's like, wait, what? How is this? Well,
No.
Omega. maybe.
I think that's unfair. Like, he's still level 5. Of course he's thirsty for creeps.
Yeah, it definitely is. Undying. Maybe this is the... yeah, Disruptor's here. Let's see that level 6. Let's get that level 6. He's too far. He's out of XP range. Oh no, the Disruptor actually doesn't get to participate, and Undying also lives. He's still level 5. He needs 15 XP.
I was meant to have this.
I think we're gonna have to start some kind of charity here.
Yeah, charity drive.
Yep.
Give Chan 6.
Give Chan 6.
Radiant's top tower is
Counter smoke.
Books.
Infinity.
Books for Chan.
Nope, that's just wards.
What if he gets the...
He has
Counter
to wait for
ward?
He has to wait. Oh, yeah, true. No, no, not the level 5 Disruptor. Not the level 5 Disruptor. Please give mercy. Sean. Oh, no. Poor man.
There's an OD offering himself up in the mid lane, and they're cutting behind him because they think somebody is farming in the trend. It's just him.
Tower is being attacked.
On the positive side, because he did not hit level 6, he respawns faster.
Dire's bottom tower
He's going to be straight back in action. And Tano has been spotted by PP and by Mariano. Look at Lissex. Look at the confidence on this guy. Walks in for the 3-man Ravage. There's the Static Storm. He literally killed a creep. He's got his ulti off, and it pays off if they actually get this kill into this track. Mengate, she's being chased around. He's being poked around. Mariano is down too. Doom has been used on the OD. Mengate is about to drop for the first time, as he does. Surrounded by zombies. They're all gone for now. There's even a salved up Undying right there, healing in front of the Wraith King. Lissex wants to keep the front line covered. This fight seems to be over. Lissex does spot the Undying on the edge of the Roach Pit, but he's already gone. Tombstone is also out of the way.
Well, that's level 6 for Chan.
That's level 6 for Chan, yep. He got himself more than 15 XP from that team fight.
Regeneration.
A little bit overzealous by Omega. I think they really underestimated how tanky that Leshrac was going to be with the hood up. So pumping most of the damage into him only to find out that they don't actually have enough. And that's a 5v4 as well, because the Luna is never involved in that. She's just been farming the triangle and at the same time. So even though the Doom goes down there, it's not really a win for Omega.
Yeah, Parker has been improving her standings. Currently 3rd. Or at least tying up the lead in net worth by just a couple gold. A few pennies. Lissex is being focused on here in mid, looking for split Earth from PP, but not quite getting the distance closed. Tide is also 150 gold short from a Blink Dagger, so he doesn't need to do those ballsy, I'm the king walking in the hall room.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, but he's
But
right
it
there,
worked
isn't
fine.
it did work. That was a risky wave to take, but you know, if you can get away with it, that's actually farmed the knight from the enemy as well. TP?
Oh, that's a dead Lesh. You ain't coming out of this one. No matter how many TPs you're going to be getting, this Lesh is dead. And a tombstone also kind of given by Prada for Lissex.
Pretty
And
tanky,
of course
max level
Tano is the
tombstone.
one to yoink in between. Free money. That's a force staff. People have been spotted. Parker, Pamplona, they've got TPs coming in. Lissex with the Blink Ravage. Look at that. Look at that. That's a work of art. They're going to go straight for the
Parker.
Luna. Parker's down. And again, you've got the Meteor Hammer ready. If this connects, Pamplona is actually going to blink out just before it connects, but the glimpse is there. He's under the tower. And he's glimpsed back, and that's a double kill. Lissex, beautiful timing there. Getting the Blink Ravage, the Blink Dagger just freshly bought into 2 kills. Killing Parker, the big Luna. Omega into the pit to take Roche.
Yep, with the freshest of Desolators here as well. I mean, that team literally
Deso.
threw this in. Yeah, I did not want to entertain you on that. Like, he's gonna buy it.
I saw the Deso earlier and I was like, I'm just gonna stay shut. Nobody's gonna recognize that. We never talked about this.
And getting to come back immediately.
But we have the Desolator on the Wraith King, so that's gonna make it a lot easier with the quick burst damage that they require to finish off targets, which is nice to have. And now with an Aegis up on the OD, Tano has got some insurance. He's 503 currently. Parker, Pamplona coming
Might
around.
need
They
it.
also Prada have here, but Force Staff is there. Mariano,
So Blink on his doom.
Blink stun. It's the Wraith King. Point of Pain, very low on HP. Pamplona is about to fall. The heals are still pumping in. There we go with the Sanity's Eclipse. OD is gone. Tombstone also cleared out. The slows will diminish, and I think Prada might have overstayed his welcome. Just a bit too long. I think they were doing something on the comms, but he wasn't sure if we're going in or not because there was a Lesh in the back line of PP as well. Oh boy, would you look at that. Omega finding 3.
I gotta say, that was just so unnecessary.
Dire's top tower
The
is under
Pop
siege.
dies, they get this blink in and a doom. As soon as you don't drop that doom over on the OD, right then and there, you disengage with everybody. You don't come from the back anymore, you don't stand around there with the Undying, like, are we gonna go in on my 5% health? No, it's over. He didn't do the thing.
He didn't do the thing where you listen to your teammates. Don't go. Don't do it.
Oh, like, you need a doom on the OD. I can understand holding it because you want it for the next team fight. Drop it on the Tidehunter or something, but that does mean that this is not a team fight.
Sky is going for Aghanim's. Nice.
Bold? Yeah, I mean, nice if you
Bold.
can afford it.
Might see a change of plans at some point. He's already got Rod of Atos built, the most necessary item to get the full combo out with the silence and his ulti.
Gold for me.
But getting double spells?
He's going to be pumping out so much damage. In the past, I've seen Skyraz prioritize getting a form of survivability or initiation up to actually getting Shadowblade. But Dark Demon essentially says here, I have enough frontline. Let me drop the base.
Towers being traded around the map. They're actually thinking about pushing high ground here because they can. Infinity might have to respawn, but how do they respawn? They smoke up from behind, so they're not even TPing back home. That means this tier 3 is definitely done for.
Dire's top tower
Look
is
at the
being
positioning here.
attacked.
Chan, the guy who's been taking the brunt of the hate. He's gonna
Will
find the
do
first
so
one.
again.
Yep, he's found the first one. That's Mariano. PKB has been popped. They're going to focus the Disruptor, but he's also being saved by Tano. And there's the Blink stun with also the Doom coming out. John is down. PP is also inside there. Doom is taking a lot of damage from that Sky ultimate. Got is about to pop for the first time. Odie just needs a couple more seconds. Ravage coming out from Lysix. BKB popped by Parker as well. And Wraith King trying to focus his attention onto the Queen of Pain. And that is at least another save coming out from the OD, keeping him alive for a bit longer. But the OD is also popped. And there's the Aegis now being used. And Dying goes down. 2 heroes dead from Infinity. Still up with 3. Omega also up with 3, but they pretty much used everything. So that will be it. 2 for 2 plus Aegis burnt.
And a Rax down, unfortunately.
And the Rax, yeah, that was the range Rax at least. So that's something.
Got that pushing wave on the top lane now. And yeah, the Luna there, honestly saving the day, recognizing that this Tide is going to have a blink now. She needs to have the BKB pop before he's in there. And that enables them to keep the stand going.
At least the graphs have been going their way. Infinity actually had a pretty huge... Okay, never mind. I'm going to take the word huge back because that's just 200 according to the graphs. Gold might be looking a bit more, but XP is not a lot. So that's just a couple hundred experience on both sides. This is a very, very galloping graph. But 3,000 gold for Omega. Win percentage looking a bit scary for Infinity, but we still haven't seen the best of this Luna. Approaching her level 3 ulti. Has the highest level in the game, and Infinity possibly the biggest smoke of this game. This might be a game saver.
Possible if they find anybody, but Omega should be out of there already.
Tano's moving out.
Haste.
Like this OD is the target, but so hard to catch them. It's all down to Mariano. Scorched Earth being used. Movement speed is being applied. A smoke being used. They're coming in from the back. Do they catch them? Do they spot them?
Thank God.
They're too fast.
Very close, but too fast. Too fierce. And now the smoke also ends as well. PP's on the high ground. Migate's there.
Read
Now
it.
they see the Parker sees it, and the stun will come out from the Wraith King, and also now PP taking the charge onto the front line, and that's a first life gonna be almost gone from the Wraith King. Not enough, and a nice ulti from Chan. They also got the run onto the Queen of Pain. Pavlona gonna get blown up instantly. Odie dropping the ulti.
Learn from Radiant's Courier.
It's a 4 versus 5. Infinity with all the chasing. They end up losing a hero.
I think they're still okay with this.
As Courier, it's no
They get to
doubt
re-establish vision in the triangle. They get to actually push out their wave somewhat. And make sure that they have a way to engage on the Roshan again after Omega moves back into their jungle. Which they're going to do immediately. They still have vision here.
I was meant to have this.
This is all just prep for the next Roshan.
Dark Demon. Hello.
Whoops.
Yeah, I walked into the wrong neighborhood. Okay,
Who
that's a
walked
crit.
into what now?
That's a crit. PP doesn't get the split earth stun onto Mingate. Oh, that Wraith King hurts. BKB forced out, but no, look at this guy. He's just right-clicking through it. OD, he definitely has the damage for it. And that's going to be another one. Pamplona, this time he ain't going to be blinking out of this one. The last time he did get glimpsed back to them. Doesn't matter because they can just finish the job where they started it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cute that Chan puts up the kinetic field, like... What's that cough gonna do, walk away? But yeah, reoccupation of the Dire's jungle has been a success. It's really, whenever Mariano is not there, Omega can do whatever they want. As long as they don't have to fear the Doom, J Mari is still the king of this game. He's working his way towards a Hex right now. Could also be a Lincoln's, I suppose, but...
Could be.
Radiant's bottom
Could still
tower is
go
being
in
attacked.
multiple directions at least. 24 minutes in. We are seeing Omega building a pretty nice game for themselves. So everything we talked about in the first game and the post-game analysis about stretching the lead and holding on to it after the laning stage, Omega has done exactly that.
But the parallels are still holding pretty strong as well, right?
Yeah.
We haven't really seen Parker show up yet. He's been there only for the base hold, and that one worked out pretty well. So now,
Ooh, how does this one end up going, though? BKB used by Mariano, and he doesn't get to use his ulti either. Queen of Pain in trouble. Nice ulti there from Chan, but doesn't quite connect onto anything because BP's got his BKB. Now Parker, they've got the Ravage, but the BKB coming out as well with the Eclipse. Parker's dealing a decent amount of damage. Lissek's also going out of there. Chan is getting chewed by zombies, and these zombies are going to kill the Disruptor in the end. That's going to be the first death. Wraith King already popped once. Mariano, heavy damage coming in from the OD, and OD gets this one. Keeps on going for more. There's a present. Meteor Hammer's available. We want to get rid of that pesky tombstone. And Undying as he dies. PP's already TPing out. Would you look at Roshan? That's 20 seconds too. Omega might just time it.
they just might. Yet OD just loves these long fights, and really the only thing standing in the way of him moving forward again and completely obliterating everybody with Arcane Orbs was the fact that this Doom was still alive. But if you offer him up like that, then yeah, you gotta retreat because J. Murray is going to destroy everybody. And he will also destroy Roshan if he gets his hands on him.
Yeah, Roche is definitely going to go down very fast. We already talked about OD's Arcane Orb doing a lot to Roche. Well, then he put a Desolator Wraith King into the fold with crits. That's also going to do a lot of damage. So that's a technically super fast Roche to be going down if Wraith King is here. OD himself, like, look at the amount of damage he's just doing by himself, and now you put the Wraith King in. This is like having a Slardar with Corrosive Haze. And it's just enough. It's just enough. Mariano not there in time. He's got himself doomed. Oh my goodness. Into the Lincolns and bounce backwards, and Infinity are wiping the table at the same time. Mingatse is also down, and Infinity have taken everything from Omega. J-Mari on the run, and that will be the OD going down, and that's a team wipe and a pause as well. What just happened? Everything went to hell.
Literally just everybody in the same spot versus the Glaives of Parker. He's pretty unimpeded because everybody's busy with that tomb. Mariano does not care one bit. He got everything he wanted out of that.
Yeah. I will actually do a quick apology because I was confused. Is this J-Mari or Tano? J-Mari is actually standing in, so it's not Tano. I might have said Tano in game 1, and I said J-Mari in game 1, so let's get that out of the way. Though, the Lincoln's Doom, and then there's the Lotus Orb, which bounced it backwards. So it didn't hit the OD, but it bounced it onto the Doom. But it didn't matter because they still got themselves a team fight they were really dying for.
I don't know if you want this guy.
Yeah,
really
might just backfire. Mingate goes in at the same time, and he finds himself an Undying. And look at this movement speed from Luna with the Mask of Madness, slowing with the Scotty. Wraith King, despite getting whipped, Parker hides in the trees, goes for the teleport out. Nothing to break that teleport. No bashers, no BKB piercing stuns. But a very optimistic attempt there from the Disruptor. But I do love that PP kind of like, I'm not afraid. You take me? No, I take you.
Oh yeah. That's a double-edged sword of the glimpse. And yeah, we didn't really get to talk about why I thought we hadn't seen much of Parker yet, but with his Skadi now, his matchup with the Wraith King has definitely tipped over into favorable for him, because the Wraith King does not output enough damage at this point to kill the Luna, and certainly does not get enough healing anymore now to sustain himself.
Even worse, if you put these two in a 1 versus 1, Luna can just kite the Wraith King. The Scotty now with the slow applies more movement speed in the favor of Luna to keep the Wraith King at bay. Pamplona is also thinking about going for a pipe, and that pipe can actually play a really, really big role in terms of soaking up the damage from Static Storm, from Sky, and from the OD ult. All of that.
Yep. Pipe in general is so expensive, but I think in games where it's good, like here, it is still completely worth it. It's just that they don't really have anybody who wants to build it right now. So it's the co-op's job.
Death tax.
And she's gonna take a while.
It's a bit of a steep climb from leading 4,000 to now being behind 4,000 gold. But money's just money. It's just an indicator that Infinity has never been out. Never been out of the game. Smoke themselves up. No vision inside their own their own jungle. There's a Sky in the top lane. That's a start. Pamplona could technically maybe look for a solo kill because she does have Yules, able to get rid of the silence. Just gotta hold on to it to the last moment. And Doom is also hunting in the trees. And now they found the Sky, and Mariano's gonna have an easy job getting this one. It's a lot of damage. So much damage.
He's okay with that. He got a bunch of information out of that. Most of the enemies are all the way back at their base.
Yep.
It's some much needed time for Mingatti, especially to work on that BKB.
What's J Mari's situation looking like? He's 9-1 and 8. He really needs that BKB. So close to it too. No buyback available with the money given.
Regeneration.
We've seen J Mari play. He does not quite look like the guy who cares about buyback all too much. He'll play on the edge. He wants his items.
It's sometimes the hard decision between do I get a second life, which I'm probably going to force to use anyway because I'm going to die in the team fight, or do I use BKB to keep that one life more precious?
Exactly. And with OD, where you want to fight these long fights, or you want to build up your mana difference, it is really much more valuable to be alive in the one fight.
Yeah.
You're not a
Or-
Storm Spirit.
Or by BKB, die and not have buyback.
Yeah, I don't BKB, die, and don't have buyback.
Yeah. Why is my core not buying or using BKB? BP finds J Mari. Lincoln's pop. Doom is there. And OD is in big trouble. And a world of hurt. He gives up. He knows there's no running from this. And that is a passive Midas inside his inventory.
Passive 2 parts of his BKB. We were talking about this. He has no buyback.
Yep. No buyback.
Luckily for him, the waves are in a very favorable position for Omega right now.
Yeah, there's only 3 people on the server who have buybacks. It's the Doom Disruptor and the Tide. As Omega sitting inside their base, Infinity have taken control of the map.
Really taking it easy. They'd like to get an Aegis up for themselves. And they know that they will outfarm now. There's no need for them to hurry. And the pressure is all on Omega to make something happen.
Leshrac has been doing some great work here in this game. Very nice item build. Not going for the Bloodstone, which is something that you sometimes see
Pamplona.
striking your eyes. But talking about items, we're talking about heroes falling in mid. Pamplona not actually even dead. And dying
Yet.
is one. Yeah, it's dead. Yeah, that's exactly. Thank you, Kips, for the correction.
That's okay. I like watching these glimpses go.
Yeah. They also put a Tinker Ward down in the top lane, so they do have some vision there if they want to make some plays happen. Meanwhile, Parker pushing bottom. It's Infinity, even if they give 2 heroes away, they're still going to find a tower. So that's a worthwhile trade.
Yep, and they have the knowledge that the Ravage is down right now. That is very valuable for them indeed. And if they can just hold this positioning, their supports don't have that long to respawn, so they can actually put this Luna with a full Satanic up towards high ground. They're not even waiting for the
You're not
respawns.
caring at all. Mingate goes in for the blink stun. The BKB will be popped on both of these cores. PP on the run. J Mari also chasing up with her own BKB. Now looking for one. It is Mariano. 15 seconds needed for Doom, and Lissex is on the side. Hyde now finally walking in. Eclipse tanking the full damage of it as well. The brunt of the damage from Parker, but there's no healing coming in from that Satanic. No healing whatsoever. Mingate chasing Mariano. Pamplona's also going to be there. They also have Prada. They're going to take down Lissex. And Mingate respawns. And Doom is thinking about dooming for a second, but not going to get to use it. And what good would it do? He's already dead for. Big fight for Omega, and Infinity are really fighting against all odds because they were just 3 heroes when that fight broke loose.
Yeah, so they get all of their BKBs forced and then don't disengage quickly enough. And incredible calculations by Lissex there, realizing that he can walk forward and force out the BKBs without dying. That was a bit too close for comfort for me, but it works so well if you have an OD waiting in the wings.
Gate now pushing onto the high ground, tier 3 tower down. They're going to even up the situation, but taking these mid-ranks for themselves. Luna's going to be up in 40 seconds. Doom has buyback up to 20. They will not take this fight with no BKBs, no ultis. Doom is not necessarily going to be enough, and they're looking for more. PP, he's hiding in the trees. If only Lesh had a shard. If only Lesh had a shard.
Ah, if only.
Mari on another target. No Meteor Hammer available, but they've got Prada. Prada's down. John is low on HP. BKB popped by PP. Undying is also going to come in for a second round. But they're just teleporting out one by one by one. They're all gone. Mengate should also be out too with this Wraith King. And they've dealt a lot of damage in Infinity's base, plus a buyback spent.
This is the second time that this shard got pinged. Have you seen where it is? Sorry, this feels like a tangent, but there seems to have been a Roshan shard that nobody took over on Omega.
Interesting.
Kinda wild. Anyway, Infinity's not gonna be happy with that sequence of events, and now they're staring down Mengate.
Okay. Talk about confidence. Wop is down to half HP. Mariano's already had his BKB up and running. There's the Ravage. On to 3 by Lissex. And Doom is dropping low. Lissex is down to Mengate is fighting for his life, but that's only his first one. He's going to come back and rolling for another round. PP comes in for the stun though, but 1 versus 4. Wraith King has been sacked and ransacked. Buybacks from the Tide, from the Doom. That's a 2 for 3. To the roast pit they go, but they can't contest this.
Not anymore, no, not with the ults down, and especially not with Mengate missing.
And so we swing to the other direction.
For now. And I guess it is a blessing in disguise that Mariano didn't actually have to use the Doom there. Otherwise, this buyback would have meant a whole lot less, and we maybe could have seen an actual contest. But now they have it for a possible high ground siege or for a possible pick-off.
Dire's top barracks are under attack.
Great work from Omega though. Like, you can see how hard it is for Mariano to actually get that Doom off onto J-Mari. Always going to be the Lincolns, plus the Lotus Orb, plus a 4-staff to the high ground, a whole bunch of people body blocking him. And the BKB of Mariano is just running so short that it's getting easier and easier for him to get silenced and ravaged as soon as it's over.
Yeah, but it's the same situation for pretty much all the cores too. Like OD is also being a bit more susceptible because the charges are running down. Same for the Wraith King. Fights are becoming more and more intense and more impactful on both ends, and this really raises up the stakes for abilities like Doom's Doom, because when you don't have such a long BKB timer, it's easier to get the linkings out of the OD.
Yep.
That's a very fast tier 2 tower down. Leshrac and Luna, they definitely push very fast.
Oh. The Disruptor just got the final part of his Aghanims. He bought it at the opponent's shop. And we have a Hex now as well. This is a big surprise. Two big unpleasant surprises.
Now it's just down to using them correctly. Tombstone is placed down. There's a baiting Leshrac illusion playing around in the front. Do they focus on that one? They've silenced it up, and they focused on PP's illusion. Meanwhile, PP, the real one, shows up on the Skywrath, and that's going to be Dark Demon down. 70 seconds. Call Disruptor's dead too. Mengate with the BKB, and Infinity might just be doing it here. Such a simple play. And in their eyes, it feels almost a bit too easy. They've gotten the supports out of the way. They've burned some ultis. And they're looking for mega creeps here. At least now Lissex goes on PP, who might have just stayed
We
Alone.
melt.
Look at that. Lizette gets another one with a refresher. They're taking down Pamplona, but still the Doom comes out. And a refresher for another one. Potentially getting some more. Lizex is going to fall. Doom is dead. Odie's dead. It was just a tiny matter of fake hype in a sense because it really didn't deal any much of a dent. Infinity is going to take this one. And GG is called by Jamari. That's a 2-0. And that's a 2-0 in style for Infinity.
Absolutely, and I can't help but ask, did Omega just lose to an illusion bait twice?
Twice. Not just once, twice.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily like the only moment where they could have taken or switched the game up, but it's very, if I had a coin for every time it happened. It's weird that it happened twice.
It is. It has been a pretty weird day in total, but that's what we get sometimes. SA delivers. We've had some fun moments for sure, but Infinity, with just that one team fight in the end, it actually becomes the game-turning win. And we talked about that when I said the game-saving smoke, which they never actually got anything out of, which definitely could have been the moment where Omega's either going to snap the back of Infinity and end the game themselves and tie this up. They never got to it. They never got to it, Kips. They just kind of disappeared.
For all the moments that they got great counter initiations and made sure that the Doom didn't end up on Jamari, they still didn't actually manage to convert that into a proper advantage on racks and a proper advantage on the map. And in some ways, of course, with the scaling of Infinity, again, just like in the first game, it was always going to happen. We were always going to get at a point where Infinity just has too much farm, gets too much out of it with their heroes. The amount of damage that the Lesh pumps out alone, we've seen it absolutely shred through Omega. But there were definitely bright lights for them here. Omega, not that easy to put down for sure.
There's a reason why they have been holding up pretty well, at least in terms of the mid grounds. They did get beaten by Gorilla's Pride 2-0, Balrog's 2-0, and now by Infinity 2-0. But they still have to play against two teams that are probably either around or below their pay grade. So Omega could still be holding a good solid spot in the middle half if they just keep their grit together. I think Jamari played a pretty good series overall today here with his OD, especially in this last game, despite not scoring a victory. So there's a lot of promise for Omega.
I think so as well. It's just they really have to work on converting these advantages that they get, because it's clear that in the transition out of the laning stage, in the first couple of team fights, they really know what they're doing.
They definitely do. But hey, Infinity, that's 10-0. Not a single map dropped so far, and undefeated. They're looking to go into the upper bracket right now. One more victory, and they've already solidified their spot, because with one loss, they will tie up with Balrogs and Gorilla's Pride, at least if they go 6-1 as well. So they basically just need to win one more series, and it's almost ready for them. They're ready for the upper division. You could say it's the upper bracket in some sense, because you're going to start scoring yourself some DPC points and really start your road towards TI.
Yep, and I'd like to see these guys go up against the upper division, just like I said about Balrogs earlier. Both of these teams seem pretty ready to bring it to some tougher opponents. So let's see if they keep it up.
Let's see if they do. Our day is coming to an end. We have finished our 2 series of SA today. South America shall continue in 2 days, where we have Interitus versus Wolf Team. And I think Wolf Team is one of those teams that has underperformed in their first 3 weeks. Let's see if they've got their packet together, start getting some games in the bag, as they had some very high expectations, but they haven't kind of proven to be on that level yet, just quite so far. So we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the story for them. Do they get dropped out of the second division? Who knows? I mean, that's up in store. So don't sleep on SA, because SA has always some great moments, as always has. And we're definitely going to be seeing more of those. But me, here with T-Panda and Kips, we're going to close out the show. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on the next time. So until then, goodbye, take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.